So, it is that time. Once again, we are going to be wrapping up everything I read, watched, listened to in the month of October. Oh, you know what I didn't do? I didn't put the names for the tier list yet. So now that I've added the names for the tier list, let's go over them. So as we know, last month I did the Bridgerton men, and it only felt fair to do the Bridgerton women this month. So starting at the bottom, we have Hyacinth. I do want to add right here that I have not read Hyacinth's book yet. The last book I read was Francesca's book, so I haven't read Hyacinth's book yet. I don't know Hyacinth like that. So, I'm just going based off of Hyacinth as a kid. She was one fucking annoying child. I'm sorry, she was. She was so irritable in every single other book so far that I've read of her. So, hopefully in her book she can change, but we will see about that. And then I have Violet. I don't really like Violet. I think it was really messed up of Violet to not warn Daphne about her wedding night. I feel like Violet, I don't feel like she's a bad mom. I feel like she just made a lot of bad decisions though. We have Daphne. You know, Daphne has that one instance in her book, but other than that, I don't really have a problem with Daphne. She's alright. She's kind of just there. We have Francesca. Now, I didn't like Francesca reading previous books, but that's because we don't really get to see Francesca. However, in her book, I really liked her. She was really deep. However, she is now Eloise Bridgerton. Eloise Bridgerton is just that bitch. I don't make the rules, but she is. And I used to not like Eloise because I thought she was kind of bitchy, but really show Eloise is kind of bitchy, and I had to separate show Eloise from book Eloise a lot. And book Eloise, especially in her own book, is so fucking funny. The way she does not let these children torment her. Now it is time to get into the actual tier making part of it. So first and foremost, let's get the classics out of the way. We have the Clues podcast. Eloise, you know this is one of my favorite podcasts. It's a true crime podcast with Kaylin Moore and Morgan Abshar. This month, actually, I got to listen to it because I had a long road trip I had to go on. And I got to listen to it in the car driving my grandma. So my grandma got to listen to the Clues podcast, and I showed her some of the new episodes, some of my favorite episodes. And it is also grandma approved. This month, I think the Jack the Ripper one came out and the Idaho 4 came out. Those were both really good podcasts. The Jack the Ripper wasn't my favorite, if I'm being honest, but I still thought it was really good. Then we have K-pop Demon Hunters. That's obviously Eloise. We all know that's my favorite thing of all time. But I did go to see the sing-along again over Halloween weekend, and actually that week I think I watched the movie 5 times that week, so that was fun. I don't have a problem. I thought I was getting better. Wait, let me show you what I'm wearing. I have my Saja Boy hoodie on. I love K-pop Demon Hunters. I actually think that I don't want to say anything because recency bias, this only came out in the middle of this year, but I have a inkling that this could be my favorite movie. We'll have to see about that. I'll keep you updated. Last one that's in every single month is Dead by Daylight, Eloise. The Halloween event was really fun. Today, the day that I'm filming, is the last day of the Halloween event, and I still have a couple challenges I need to get done, but I'm not too pressed about them. The exclusive stuff didn't really interest me except for the Michaela and Sable banner, and I think I did already get the Michaela and Sable banner. If not, I'll try to get that at least. But yeah, I wasn't too impressed with the Halloween event. I feel like the challenges, for me at least, were really hard to complete, especially playing killer. I did get a cute new costume for Feynman Min though, so I was really happy with that. Now that we got the classics out of the way, let's get started with everything else. So speaking of K-pop Demon Hunters being one of my favorite movies of all time now, we have another movie that is one of my all-time favorite movies. This I used to cite as my all-time favorite movie. However, with K-pop Demon Hunters, it is being thrown for a little bit of a loop. And that is 10 Things I Hate About You. That's obviously Eloise. I still do really love that movie, even if K-pop Demon Hunters has kind of taken its throne. But, oh my god, I fucking love that movie. It's like a 90s rom-com with Jared Leto, and I don't know the actress's name, I'm sorry. It's so good. It's based off of The Taming of the Shrew by Shakespeare, which I haven't read that play, but now I really, really want to read it if it's based off of this. I know it's not going to be the same, and it's going to be drastically different, but still. I watch it every year on my birthday. I just happen to watch it in October too. And then the other movie I watched is Redeeming Love. Redeeming Love is based off of a Christian romance book, and it takes place during the gold rush, and it's about this woman who she has been sold into that kind of industry since basically she was 18. She just she just doesn't see her worth anymore. She doesn't really see herself as a person anymore, And one day, I think it's based off of the story of Hosea. In the Bible, Hosea had a very promiscuous wife, and he kept just forgiving her, and one day she decided to be devoted to him. That's kind of what's going on here. There's this farmer who is very devoted to God. He is Christian, and one day he's praying that he'll find his wife soon, but, you know, he wants God to lead him to his wife. And I haven't read the book, I would like to add, so I'm just going based off of the movie. So one day, Michael, who is the farmer, finds Angel, who is the worker. She's the most popular working professional in this town, so much so that, like, her madam has a raffle every day to see who gets to be with her. And Michael kind of bypasses that by paying double her price, and he sees her 3 days in a row, but he, like, never touches her, and she's like, what is going on? Like, that's so weird. And he goes, well, I don't want to sleep with you, I want to marry you. And Angel's like, she is agreeing to do this to kind of, like, pay him back the difference of, like, how much extra he was paying to see her. So she agrees to go with him and, like, pretend to be his wife for a while. But, like, she's slowly seeing, like, how nice her life could be here. And, of course, that, like, scares her, so she keeps running off, and Michael has to keep, like, bringing her back and stuff like that. And I'm gonna be honest, after a while, I was like, dude, again, it's a love story, so they do end up together in the end. If I'm being honest, I'd probably put it in Daphne. I don't regret watching it. It was still good. It wasn't my favorite thing in the world, and I don't really have a desire to rewatch it anytime soon. I do want to read the book that it's based off of. It's not something I'm, like, jumping, like, foaming at the mouth to read right now. I do have it on my to-buy list, though. I have The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. I watched season 1 this month, and I'm gonna put that in Francesca. I'm gonna be honest, I don't think I liked it, but I did sit and watch all of season 1 in one sitting. So what does that say about me? I don't want to answer that question right now. I did film my reaction to season 1 of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives for TikTok, and those have not been edited, but they are filmed and everything, so you check out my TikTok, I guess, if you want to see those. Those will be out shortly. If you don't know what Secret Lives of Mormon Wives is about, it's kind of like, I never watched the Real Housewives series, but I would imagine it's kind of like the Real Housewives, if they were all Mormon and they were, like, judging each other about how Mormon they are. That's, like, half of what they fight about, is how Mormon they are. And I know I'm in the minority because, like, I'm a team Whitney girly. I love Whitney. I think she's the best. Again, only going to based off season 1. I haven't even started season 2 yet. Fuck Demi, I think, is it? Fuck Demi and Jesse. Taylor's alright. I do think Taylor is a little selfish and self-centered. Everyone else is chill. Fuck Jen's husband, Zach. Hate him. Whitney's chill. She's tight. I would love to get a soda with her. That's all I have to say. Again, I haven't seen season 2 yet, and season 3 is actually coming out soon. The reason I started watching this, by the way, is because Jen and Whitney are both on Dancing with the Stars, and I love Dancing with the Stars. And after a while, I was like, what the fuck is this show they're from? And I watched it. It's my kind of trashy reality TV where I was like, thank God, this is not my life. The other show I watched, it's called One Night, One Forever. I thought this face was behind me. I truly did. I thought I got past this. But it is one of those real short shows. And the reason I watched this one in particular is because there was a real short adaptation of Bound by Honor by Cora Riley that was coming out, and I wanted to watch it. The way these work is you get, like, these coin things for checking in every day, and then you can get additional coins for watching ads. But you can also get additional coins for watching so long. However, the only problem with that was that their shows made you spend coins, so in order to, like, kind of get your coins back, you either had to, like, just watch episode 1 of, like, a ton of different series, or pay money, and I didn't want to pay money to watch Bound by Honor, so I was like, oh, I'll just do the, like, daily watch ads ones. But then I found out that on this app, there are free shows you can watch, and this was one of the free ones to watch, so I could get, like, the time bonus for watching it, not spend my coins that I had that I was saving up for Bound by Honor. Then I did that, and this was the only one I watched because it was, like, so fucking bad. I'm gonna put it in Hyacinth. Like, it was so annoying. I hate to say it, the actors weren't the greatest, even by, like, real short standards in my opinion. And the story was kind of stupid too. Like, the story was like they accidentally had a one-night stand. They were both apparently, like, very drunk, and then she gets pregnant, and then he wanted to marry someone else, and then they are going to raise the baby together, but then he also wants to raise the baby with the person he's in love with, but then he actually loves the girl who's pregnant, but then she has an ex-boyfriend who wants her back, but he really just wants to make a ton of money. It was a very confusing plot, and I feel like it was all over the place and it didn't make sense. And then again, the acting was not great. And also the timeline, now that I'm thinking about it, the timeline didn't make sense because it kind of felt like it all happened within 1 month. Never see her, like, stomach grow. I also don't know how pregnancy works, so I don't know how quickly your stomach grows, but, like, she was still very flat-stomached by the end of it. And then we have albums. You can see I have a lot of a particular artist, but we're going to start with the one that's the outlier. I listened to, once again, You'll Be Alright Kid by Alex Warren. This quickly became my favorite album to put on while I'm reading. I do have some new favorite songs on this album, Bloodline and Getaway Car being my 2 favorite at the moment. This is gonna go in Eloise. I love this album. Again, it's like my favorite album to put on now. If I just want to have a reading day, I will have this album on loop. And then we have Miss Taylor Swift. I listened to 4 albums of hers this month. I listened to Debut, which is obviously her debut album. I don't particularly like this one. It is not my least favorite. However, it's not my favorite either. I'd probably put Debut in Violet. I don't really try to listen to Debut a lot. Favorite songs off of Debut, Our Song, Teardrops on My Guitar, Tim McGraw. That's really kind of it. We have Fearless. Fearless is my least favorite Taylor Swift album, but it is also going to go in Violet right next to Debut. This is the Taylor's version, obviously. I know we can listen to the regular version again, but I just wanted to listen to the Taylor's version because it has the vault tracks on it, so I could listen to those too. Favorite songs off of Fearless, Mr. Perfectly Fine, Forever and Always piano version. I think that's it. Fearless is probably my least favorite Taylor Swift album. I don't reach for it a lot. Then we have Speak Now, Taylor's version. Again, I wanted to listen to the vault tracks, so that's gonna go Francesca. Speak Now is actually one of my more favorite of Taylor Swift's albums. It is not my favorite. Reputation is my favorite, if anyone was curious. But Speak Now is pretty up there. I did not like Speak Now upon first listen to, but after listen through, it has, like, grown on me so much. Favorite songs off of Speak Now, Sparks Fly, Mine, Back to December, When Emma Falls in Love, Enchanted. I do really like Electric Touch. I know not a lot of people like that one. I do like that one. And then lastly, we have Miss Taylor Swift's newest album, The Life of a Showgirl. This is so controversial. Like, people fucking hated this album. And I don't understand why, because to me this is an Eloise. This is probably right behind Reputation, my favorite album of hers. I have listened to it this month alone like 10 times all the way through, not to mention like when I'm listening to my favorite songs individually. I loved The Life of a Showgirl. Again, it's probably like my second favorite album. Favorite songs, Fate of Ophelia, Opalite, Cancelled. The Life of a Showgirl I do really like. I know not a lot of people like it, and a lot of Swifties don't like it either. Which I'm like, really, I don't understand why they don't like it. Like, yeah, it's very different from the Tortured Poets department, but in my opinion, this album is kind of reminiscent of her earlier days when she was full of, like, hope and love and stuff like that. And then her later albums, obviously, like Midnights and Tortured Poets department, you can kind of feel it crumbling a little bit. Like, yeah, it's not as artistic as those albums. However, it's fun, it's catchy, it's upbeat, she's happy with Travis. Video games, we have 2. We have Smite 2. Smite 2 was on a previous wrap-up, and I was not the biggest fan of Smite 2. I did not enjoy it that much. I have recently gotten back into it, and I have been playing it almost as much as Dead by Daylight, if I'm being honest. I've been really enjoying Smite 2. My main character, Neith, did get her sexy nurse outfit back, and it comes in different colors. I've been really enjoying Smite 2. I don't like it as much as Dead by Daylight. I don't reach for it as much as Dead by Daylight, so it will be going in Francesca. However, I have still really been enjoying Smite 2 a lot this month, and I do intend on enjoying it a lot this coming month. The last game I have is The Sims 3. The Sims 3 is my favorite game of all time, if we are not aware. However, this month I'm gonna have to put it in Daphne. I hate to say it, because I tried playing The Sims 3, and every time I would go to save, I would get error code 16, I believe, which is just like a problem, like saving the game because the game's too big or whatever. So I tried doing what the internet said and like saving the game under a different name, and that worked for a little bit, but like I didn't want to have to do that every time. and then also like saving the game and then like clearing out all your caches or whatever. That didn't work either, so I just been having a lot of issues with it. If you know how to clear up error code 16, please let me know, because I want to dive back into The Sims 3. I want to love The Sims 3 again, but I can't play it like that. I can't play it and not have my world save. I don't like creating a new world every time. I like following one family through a couple of generations. And again, like not being able to save, that's just not gonna happen. Lastly, we have books. We have Under the Oak Tree Volume 2. As you know, I read Volume 1 of Under the Oak Tree, loved it, read Volume 2, loved it even more. Now, Under the Oak Tree, after Volume 2, is where I stopped reading online, so like about halfway through Volume 2 on out is new content for me, and I'm still loving it. I'm still loving Maxie and Riftan. I am getting a little anxious and I want them to get more into the story, because I feel like a lot of 2 was like filler and setting up Volume 3, but I do still really love it. Art, again, is beautiful. Story is wonderful. Maxie and Riftan are amazing characters. But it's gonna go to Francesca just because I feel like there wasn't a lot going on story-wise in that volume, at least. Again, I feel like it was just a lot of setup. We have Wishing Hearts by Emmy Sanders. This is actually the last book in the series. However, I read it as an ebook, and all of my ebooks, unless they're from Kindle Unlimited, I get for free. So this was an ebook that I got for free. I don't remember where exactly I got it for free from. It's the last book in the series, but from when I was reading, the series is not one that has to be read in order. So I wasn't lost or anything reading this one. But the book starts out with this vet from Dallas going down to a southern part of Texas. I don't know exactly where, but he is going down there because they found a severe animal hoarding situation. This older gentleman was like hoarding all of these barn animals, and like there were hundreds upon hundreds of animals, and so much so that like they have animal control from Dallas come down, but they can't take all the animals, so they have to find like I think like a ton of different foster families. But one of the animal control guys takes quite the liking to our hunky veterinarian and starts flirting up, and he finds out that they do both live in Dallas. So come to find out, when they're both back in Dallas, there's only so many veterinary clinics. He is able to find which one the vet works at. I don't remember either one of their names. And the vet is like very nervous about this because he really likes the animal control guy. However, he is hiding a little bit of a secret at home, and the secret is like kind of why his past relationships haven't worked out in the past. So for his first date with the animal control guy, the vet's like, how about you come to my house and bring a chocolate cake? So when the animal control guy finally gets to the vet's house, he's first of all so excited because he is like already head over heels for the vet. But he knocks on the door and he sees this little girl hopping out of a pillow fort. And it turns out the animal control guy is a single dad to a beautiful 10-year-old girl who is funny and witty, and she's just utterly adored by her father and her grandparents. And I'm not saying like single parents can't date, but the vet dude, his whole life has been about his daughter and his job. Therefore, he hasn't given a lot of his previous relationships a lot of time, and that has caused them to fizzle out, which is like, that is understandable. Like, if you feel like you're not being given like enough time in a relationship, being like, I don't think it's gonna work out. Like, yeah, he did the right thing prioritizing his daughter, but the animal control guy, like, you know, they start dating and he's like, listen, it is okay that you prioritize your daughter, and I think you should prioritize your daughter over me. However, you can't keep going like this. And they like they discover that like the vet, he is like suffering from a lot of anxiety because his entire life has been putting his daughter first, and he never does anything for himself. And the animal control guy is finally like, you need to do something for yourself though every once in a while, or you can't be there for your daughter mentally. You need to take care of yourself too. And it's a really beautiful relationship. The animal control guy is like so determined to win over this daughter. I really liked it. It wasn't my favorite thing in the world, but I am interested in reading the other books in the series. I would put it in Daphne. Then these last 3 books I read for a book club that I'm in at a local bookstore where I'm at. The first one is Loving a Vampire's Total Chaos. This is by Aura Hayes, I believe. This is about a detective who, she is like investigating this case, and it's like this murderer is going around and creating these elaborate crime scenes. Like, there's like body parts flung everywhere. Each crime scene is just like a massacre, and she's trying to investigate it. Little does she know that it's actually a vampire who is doing this, and he's also killing bad people. But like, for whatever reason, the vampire is drawn to stay at the scene of his crime one night, and that's when he sees this detective investigating his case, and he's like, fuck, Like, that's my mate. So fucking crazy. Because then he is instantly boy obsessed with this woman. He, like, kills her next door neighbor so he can move in next door. Watch her all the time. He keeps finding these odd jobs wherever she's at. One day he's working at the bowling alley when her friend sets her up on a date. Another time he's at, like, the bar by her workplace for when they go out for lunch. He's, like, always showing up whenever she's around. But she does eventually find out, you know, he's a vampire. He is not the only vampire in town. That poses a threat to the detective because there's, like, a secret underground vampire operation that the hot, sexy vampire is not a part of. But it's hindering on his relationship with the detective because she's determined to figure out what's going on with the secret underground operation. And a sequel has already been confirmed following the best friend of the detective. I'm gonna be honest, this was probably another Daphne for me personally. I really liked it. There were a lot of plot holes, and I will say the last fourth of the book felt very rushed. They needed just to get it done. They needed to get their word count done. It was really good, and I couldn't put it down for, like, the first 250 pages, and then that last 100 pages was just a bunch of fall-through plot holes. There is a sequel coming out, so maybe that will explain some of it. Reading it as just a standalone, like, that last 100 pages just really kind of lowered it. Then we have The Brit by Jodi Ellen Malpass, I believe. This was actually a book club pick for 2 months ago, and I just now finished it. So if that is any indication of where this is going, it's going in Hyacinth. I fucking hated this book. Every time I picked it up, it was agony to read. I felt like I was being tortured to read this, but I was determined to finish it, and I did buy this one. I don't like spending money on books and then not finishing them, even if it's, like, killing me to read them. So I did finally finish it, and I'm so glad that is out of my way. I am not picking up the sequel. From what I was reading on Goodreads, though, the direct sequel to this, the next book in the series, follows a different couple, but then every other book after it follows the couple in The Brit and then the couple in the next book. And, like, those two couples are working together for something. I don't know. I wasn't too interested because, like I said, I fucking hated this book, so I have no intention of reading it. This book is like, oh my god, I don't even know how to explain it. This book follows this girl who was being bought and sold since she was under the age, even. And she has a kid, and this kid is, like, used by the guy who owns her. So that way she will always do what he says. Because she, like, doesn't give a fuck about herself. But she cares about her son. She is currently, like, sleeping with a guy who's running to be, like, state senator or governor or some shit. I don't know. She's currently sleeping with him. But he owes a lot of money to this man in the mafia called The Brit. And The Brit is actually the adopted son of the former boss who's recently passed away. He was adopted off the streets in Britain, so that's why he's called The Brit. The Brit is like, I want my fucking money, bitch. So he goes, and he's, like, notoriously bad at poker, The Brit. So he plays poker against the senator, and the senator is like, well, I want all my money back. And he's like, no, you owe me the money you already owed me, plus whatever you just took from me, plus I'm taking your side piece right there. You've been giving her eyes all game. So he takes the side piece, but, like, he like, sees something in her eyes because, like, again, this kid was taken off the street. He was taken from a very abusive household. So he sees, like, his pain and misery reflected in, I think her name is Rose. So he sees his pain and misery reflected in Rose's eyes. So The Brit is like, you're my hostage, but also I really want to fuck you, but also, like, I'm falling in love with you. Rose is like, a slut, but also don't treat me like that, but also, like, you're too good for me, but also I'm too good for you, but also I have no emotions, but, like, also I feel all the fucking time. And that was, like, my fucking problem with this book. One, it felt like the author was just adding a bunch of shit in it that didn't need to be added into it just for, like, shock value and to give the characters trauma. Like, there was no reason for half the stuff that happened to them to happen. But then also, like, the character writing in and of itself was super inconsistent. He would keep saying, like, The Brit was, like, the cruelest, meanest, most vicious man in, I think it takes place in Florida. However, like, but then you see him constantly, like, letting people go, being like, well, get this done or else, but then, like, or else never comes. And then Rose is constantly like, yeah, I've had my emotions basically beaten out of me because I've been, like, used and abused forever. But then, like, you're reading from her POV, and you're like, for someone who doesn't have emotions anymore, you feel a lot. You sure do feel a lot. And, like, that was another one of my problems. It's like, I felt like the author wanted her characters to be a certain way, but she didn't know how to write them that way. So, but she said that they were that way, but then they weren't that way. So yeah, I hated that book. I have no interest in reading the sequels, or I really don't even have an interest in reading anything else by the author. Last book I have was Game Over by Selena Winters. It's about a girl who streams on Twitch, and she's not like a big Twitch streamer, but she has like a little bit of a following. One night when she's like playing games, she meets this guy, and they like game together. They've been gaming together for like 2 years. Little does she know, he is not only a billionaire CEO of a tech company, but he follows her on Twitch as he's playing video games with her. He's also stalking her over the internet. And like the home security system she uses just so happens to be from his company, but he can also hack into her webcam and her TV and her phone. He plans to one day when they're at Comic-Con to kidnap her, and he does. And then when he like kidnaps her and stuff like that, he takes her to this like secret underground bunker he made. And he has like these levels that he does, and they're literally like video game levels. He goes, level 1, do this, level 2 is this, and you're gonna learn this. I kind of had the same problems with this book as I did with Loving a Vampire is Total Chaos. Like the first 3/4 of it, I was super invested, super like, ooh, 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 what is this? However, the last 1/4 kind of just fell through. And it felt like the author didn't know how to wrap up her story. I did like this one a little bit more than Loving a Vampire Total Chaos though, so I will put it in Francesca, but again, it just felt like it didn't really have an ending. Like, it had an ending, and it was clear what the ending was, but it didn't feel earned because, like, the switch was flipped like that with both characters. The girl, she is legitimately like, I need to find a way to escape. Like, she is complying in a way, but she's also complying so that way she can find weaknesses in the system. Like, all of a sudden, she just doesn't want to leave, and it's not really explained why. Kind of like she just got used to being there. But then he is like, oh, I can't keep doing these levels with her because I'm breaking her. But again, it's not really explained. So like, again, like when they're like, the beginning, the rise, and the climax are like top tier. And then like the falling action, you're like, what the hell just happened? Like, it just wrapped up so fast. And again, it didn't feel earned. I felt like this book could have really benefited from like just 100 more pages. But that is my complete tier list for the month of October. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you all in the next video.